Okay, I think I'm just going to log in your account. Yes, there is an entire set of new tutorials in addition to the other ones. These are a little bit more. You probably want to start with these first because you've already done the other stuff. It's not really worth it. But let's go to our instructions tab here. I'm looking for the V3. Let's just see how they're named in here. Right here. Go to this one right here. Okay, V3 tips and tutorials by page. Okay. And hit the instructions button here. And what I've done here is I put all the bits and pieces. This is kind of a new thing here that I'm doing. Global areas and components. So anything that's used on all your pages is sort of listed at the top here. So we have the off-canvas menu, the website name, tagline, graphic logo, breadcrumb. So these are bits and pieces of the page that are common to everything. Then we get into very specific page by page. So there's the index page. So we have the welcome, right, if that's being used, and then the in your particular one, because we have some different types of components, you actually just have the amazing slider as a default on your index page, but there's several different index pages. So but skills bar, features, dividers, the quotes section, the counter, all the bits and pieces of the index page are sort of, and how to work with those components are sort of listed here. The about page, you know, we have a video here showing you how to change different information on that, the carousel, the what's new, team carousel. Then we go down to the about single page. So this, if you have these pages in your site, these are how to work with the components. But I'm just opening up the site here. I'm going to try and look at your screenshot. So let me put this on hold for a second. Okay, so this is just a brand new Marvel. You know what I think the thing is, Kathy, is it's probably a SharePoint Designer thing. Because this is what I look like. This is what it looks like. This is your template I just downloaded from your account. Open an Expression Web, which is sort of the de facto tool that I use now for testing it. You know, I don't actually pull it open in SharePoint Designer 2007 anymore because it's all the same sort of code. But what we're seeing here is, like, that was the black section right there. Let me see if I can pull up that screenshot for you here. Here's what you're seeing right here. That's the keyboard. See how it slinks down over top, and then you got the content heading and whatnot, and you got this glue here where the skills progress bar is. If I look at this in Expression Web, it looks a lot different. So I'm just going to open this up in SharePoint just out of curiosity to see. Okay, so let me just open up index.htm here. There's your big pick right there. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's just, it is because most likely that SharePoint Designer doesn't support transparencies, and it's just using a default. So that's what it's supposed to look like right here. Okay, and the way I've designed this now, one of the things I wanted to express is you can actually just right click. So when you get to these things with like skills, progress bars, and you're not sure how to edit them, you can just right click and go open file, and it opens up a library file directly. You make your changes, boom, save, boom, Bob's your uncle, and that's it. That particular component is now updated and done. Quotes carousel, same thing, just like that. Open it up directly, so you don't have to go digging through library files, right? That was the intention anyways, but I didn't realize that SharePoint Designer was making such a mess with that thing there. But this is the one. Let's open up a different index page here for a sec. I'm trying to see the same thing you're seeing there. The one where the picture overhangs, because I'm not getting that. You know what? You probably have your visual aids turned on. Yeah, that's part of it, perhaps. But that I see comes down here, so I've got a quick solution for you for at least SharePoint Designer. So hang on a sec here. Right, we can do a quick tidy up with this. As you can see, we've got rid of the header image. What I'm going to suggest, I'm actually going to give you this little snippet of information right here in the ticket. Body, design view. What I want you to do is just go to your site, styles, and your helper.css. Open that up and go down to line 1301. I'm going to give you this, just this body.designView space.showcase and the comma and the space after it. And I'm just going to ask you to paste it right in front here where it says body design view header. Paste that right in front. Just make sure that the showcase and the comma, there's a space separating the body and the comma there. Okay, and what that'll do is it'll basically turn off that big picture in the page, right, to make it a little bit easier. But I would almost suggest, if you could, it probably will look a little bit tidier if you actually try working with Expression Web 4. It's free. It's basically just let's see what else we got there. It's you know, that's the latest free thing from Microsoft, so probably not a bad idea to go and do that if you want. But because 2007 is getting a little bit out of date, especially with some of the newer stuff that we're trying to put into the site. But let's answer your other question. How do you get that right column? How do you get rid of stuff? Try to make it really easy for you to get rid of stuff as well. Let's say you don't want this section right here. Right? You put your cursor in here somewhere. You go up to where it says your DWG editable, or we'll do this here. Let's say we don't want the this section right here. Go find it says DWG editable. First div to the right. Click. Select. Selects the whole thing, and delete on the keyboard, and it's toast. Everything is wrapped in a section tag here in the different pages, so you can, boom, get rid of it. Now, something cool. Let's say you want to use a 2-column left side menu. Make a copy of the page, drag it into the root wherever you're trying to do that. Open it up like so. Okay, and this section here, right? We want this entire div section 2 right here. Okay, see that section 2? Section 2, and I just want to see if it has a special style sheet linked in, because I can't remember. Helper, nope, nothing special. Okay, so what we would do is where it says DWG editable, we go to div section 2, we copy that, then you go to your index page, right? Find the section you want to, the place of the page you want to put it in. Let's say it's right here in place of the skills progress. You do the DWG editable, you find the div section, parallax dark, but just basically the first div, click, and then paste. I'm not going to do it, of course, in the design view as it's stuck. It's thinking. There we go. It pasted. So I'm just going to save the page, and we're just going to preview in browser here to see if that did what it's supposed to do. As an example, and there it is. There's the entire left in there for you. And if you want me to send you a page with that in there, if you want me just to modify a page and send it in, just let me know. Tell me what sections you want on your index page, which ones you want to get rid of. I'll mock one up for you and fire it over. That's no big deal. But like I said, I'm sort of thinking I would also like to advise, if you haven't worked with Expression Web 4 yet, it's a little bit, I mean, it's different. It looks a little darker, but it's more current, especially with some of the CSS and stuff we're using. So things like this will actually show up in the page and make it a little bit easier to read, right? Now there are some things that you may just check something out here. All right. Nice to meet you. Just opening up. There's our breadcrumb. Nice to meet you section. Team carousel section. There's a little bit of text that's sort of whited out here. Right. You hover over. Sometimes I suggest that you just sort of do that, hover over, and then you scooch over to the code view and update it if you have to, if you can't really quite see it, right? Because this is designed to be over top of a dark background, which doesn't show on the page itself, right? So it's always good to have the page open, right? So in this case, the About page, for example, have it open in a browser. You go, okay, a bit about us, time to meet the team. Then you go back to your editor and you say, okay, well, where's all that information sort of hiding at? Well, you can actually just sort of, it's right in here, but because it's animated, you sort of put your cursor in this area here, flip it over to code, and then, you know, a bit about us, time to meet the team. There it is right there if you ever get stuck. Right. But, or you can, the other trick is put your cursor in the area, flip it over, and just get rid of the, you can actually get rid of these animation effects, because that's what's sort of, just trying to see which class it was that's hiding it. Yeah, the WoW class. So, put that back in. What the wow does is it fades the text in, right? So you can go and make those updates. Then you can just go back to the, when you're done, type in class wow with a space afterwards. And what the wow does, it's an initiator. It delays the text from fading into the page until you get to that section of the page.